What is up, everyone? Your boy Armando Marsaw here of FantasyGuru.com. Just fired up a Drafters Million III Best Ball draft here. Waiting on, yeah, so I am ready to draft right here. So 6 of 12 of us are ready to draft. We are pick number 7. So this is my third Drafters Best Ball draft, or the championship draft, that is, of the year. So I'm usually a little bit more. In on these drafts, but I got a late start to them this year. This is the third one. I've been the 12th pick, the 8th pick, and now the 7th pick. I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of draft boards. I've been keeping a close eye on ADP trends and things like that, and this is a part of the draft that I'm not overly excited about, if we're being 100% honest today here. As far as I don't like this spot, I don't like the 7, 8, 9 hole. I really like the top 5 picks here based on everything I've seen. So see how this one goes today. For those of you who don't know, we have a good promo going on there at fantasyguru.com with Drafters Best Ball. If you're a first-time depositor, you get a 100% match up to your first $100 deposit. If you are reloading, we also have a promo code that's Elite10, and that gets you 10% of your deposit and match up your deposit there. And the first promo code, for those who don't know, is Elite there. So make sure you take advantage of that. They also, I mean, in addition to these bonuses, Drafters has a bunch of other bonuses. I'm looking at it right now here. When you draft 10 of these, you get a bonus ticket. When you draft 25, you get another bonus ticket. You draft 50, 2 bonus tickets, 100, 3 bonus tickets. And if you max enter, you get $100 bonus funds and a Drafters t-shirt. So we're on the clock here at pick number 7, and I couldn't be more excited right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown, someone I like a ton here, and someone I'm going to be drafting whenever I get the opportunity. He's just a high floor play, high ceiling play, and that's kind of what we're looking for. You want that combination here from this first round, and you're trying to take on the least amount of volatility as possible. I think St. Brown gives us a really good combination of one of the safest floors in football, as well as an immense ceiling here. So I like him. Like I said, this is my third draft. I haven't had a chance to draft him yet. I've actually drafted Jahmyr Gibbs there twice already, so I've been pretty bullish on him. So this first round is going as expected. This is kind of what we're seeing. You're going to see a heavy run at the wide receiver position here early in the drafts. Last draft I was in, it had 6 running backs taken in the top 2 rounds, and all the other positions were receivers. I think it was a total of 9 players outside of the receiver position taken in that first 3 rounds. This is actually the first time I've seen 4 running backs come off the board in round 1. So that is a bit surprising to me. I've actually seen a lot of, Drake London going in that 9th, 10th, 11th pick. So surprised to see him still there. If we're being, it's just, I mean, again, this is my third draft, but I've seen a lot of draft board and stuff. So he's someone a lot of people are excited about here. I be honest with you, I'm really hoping that Barkley gets back to me. He's someone that I've been targeting. Taylor's another interesting one, but I'm going to try to target, Pittman as a receiver here. So I may not want to pair up both Taylor and Pittman here. So gonna see what this Devontae Adams would be the other player. All right, so you know what? I've gone the first 2 drafts. I've taken a running back, at least one running back in the top 2 rounds. I'm gonna go for a target monster in Devontae Adams. I got maybe not the same receiver he was a couple of years ago, but still someone that should get plenty of volume here. I'll like the start here of the 2 receiver. I've been in a couple of these drafts. I've seen a lot of ADP trends, and we're going to get a lot of good value. We're going to find pockets here in that round 5 through 8 with very good value. And you're going to see how quick the receivers are going to fly off the board. I mean, by the time I go again, you see, I mean, it's receiver, receiver, receiver. I mean, you're probably going to see maybe 2 more running backs be taken ahead of my next pick. I'd be stunned if we have any type of run at the position. So for those of you new to basketball, kind of let me give you a little gist of it, Nick. So this is their Drafters Million three. This is the third year they're doing it, and essentially this is a 20 round draft based on a 12-team PPR league, right? That's how this plays out. But you're not playing against just 12 teams. This is capped out at 186,672 teams. So that you could be in a competition with that many teams if this fills up. So first place is 500,000, second place is 200,000, third place is 100,000, and all the way to the top 20 players or the top 20 teams will get at least 10,000 payday, and you get all the way through 28,000 teams will get paid. So again, this is a high, the pay structure is really well done, but you're aiming for that 500,000, of course, here. And how it works, the roster is 20 players, 20 rounds here, so 20 player roster. You're starting one quarterback, two running backs, three receivers, one tight end, one flex, no defenses, no kickers, and it's a full PPR format here. So I mean, look at this run. I'll continue about it, but I just want to point out, look at this run. And this is why, I didn't go Barkley there, because you still got some quality backs. I'm very keen on Travis Etienne this season, and he's someone that, let me see what I do here in that, third round, but he's someone that I could potentially get, in the following round. So I right now, the way I've been doing things is kind of letting things play out and see how it goes. And my plan was to get at least one running back in this top 3 round. But I'm not gonna lie to you, I like the idea of adding Stephon Diggs here. I'm going to be taking him ahead of Cooper Kupp, I know. I think they're very similar as far as where I have them ranked. Pull that up here, but yeah, I have them very closely ranked here. But I like this Houston offense. I like what I saw last year from CJ Stroud, and I want to be invested here. So I went Diggs here. I could have gone running back. I still like some of these running backs. I don't feel like I need to rush the running back position, because there's still a handful of guys here that I'm very comfortable with as my RB1, and I could even wait even longer. If we're really looking at, if you looked at my article that I wrote last week, the drafters ADP targets, the running back targets I like, there's a lot of guys here that we can get in rounds 5 or later, 6, 7 rounds. So there goes the first quarterback off the board, Jalen Hurts. Not surprised there. That team went with A.J. Brown to start, so stacking makes a lot of sense there. So the way this works is you draft your team, and it's one and done. Like, that's it. There's no waiver wires. There's nothing. So if between now and the start of the season anyone gets hurt, that's one less player on your roster. You're not going to have the ability to make a move, or there's no moves or anything like that. There's no waiver wire. And then you don't have to set your lineup. So the computer will automatically generate your highest scoring player. So the highest scoring quarterback on your roster any specific week, that's the one they're gonna account for the points. And then the top 2 scoring running backs, the top 3 scoring receivers, the top scoring tight end, and then whoever's left on the bench, the highest scoring player, non-quarterback, will be the next player that they plug in your flex. As far as roster construction, I generally, this is 20 rounds, so you have the ability to make some moves. And so here we go, back-to-back tight ends. Not surprising whatsoever. We got another quarterback off the board there. And again, if we go according to plan here, we're going to get our Travis Etienne. I mean, that's realistically what we can accomplish here. You heard that is fucking thundering there. So going through a pretty bad storm. I like this group of receivers quite a bit, and you're going to see another run of receivers, but I like Travis Etienne a lot. I think he's going overlooked. I'm expecting this Jaguars offense to be a little bit better. And when you look at, what Travis Etienne did last year, RB3 in PPR formats. So I like what I'm getting here, and I'm going to be able to pair him up with other quality running backs, which is what I like. So This has been my favorite start to a draft thus far. I'm not going to, like the other ones, I've started pretty solid, but the quality of receivers that I got here compared to the other ones, it's much different. So I do like this start quite a bit. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of receivers come off the board. We're seeing, a couple of tight ends here in this fourth round. And now you're going to see a couple of other quarterbacks come off the board. And then we'll usually see another, small run of tight ends. We might see Andrews come off the board, McBride, Dalton Kincaid. We might see him here before, the next two rounds off the board. And Richardson here, that's interesting. Obviously, I think drafting Pittman there had a lot to do with it for McDonald. Stacking is very important in basketball. Tyler Beaker wrote a phenomenal article in regards to stacking there, so make sure you check that out. I mean, it just goes over the importance of it. So the way this works, going back to the way it works, and I'll be bouncing back and forth, just kind of breaking down the draft as well as what this draft is. So what this does is you're basically accumulating points throughout the season. Every week your highest scoring players are going to be in your starting lineup. That's your points total for the week. Let's say it's 200. And then the following week is 200. So that's 400 after 2 weeks. This tournament runs through week 17. So after 17 weeks of football, whoever is the highest scoring team is going to take home that $500,000 and so on and so forth. That is how this works. So what you really are trying to aim for is you want upside. You obviously want to have a combination of some floor plays as well. And you just try to build the best possible roster, right? And basically, roster construction is very important. Stacking is very important. Being mindful, of bye weeks. You don't want to have a week where more than half of your team is on bye. I generally don't place too much emphasis, but if you have too many players on bye, you're handcuffing yourself to, a potentially really bad week. We could set you back in these kind of tournaments in a big way. So, yeah, I mean that's basically what this is. And again, there's no roster moves. There's nothing. This is the team you draft. This is how what your roster is going to look like the rest of the season, and this is what you're going to battle with. So, look, as expected, Mark Andrews, Pitts, McBride, three tight ends went. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kincaid go very soon here. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I like Kyle Pitts a lot. I probably wouldn't have taken him there at that specific spot, but I like him here quite a bit. I'm gonna go with another receiver that I don't have exposure. I'm gonna go with another receiver here though. I like the idea of continue to hammer out these receivers. For me, I like Godwin here. I think this is a good spot to grab him. And I mean, when you look at him as my fourth receiver, I'm very, very content with that. No, sorry, scratching out some players here that I have. Now, I could have gone running back, right? I definitely could have gone running back, but I'm gonna go running back in the right here. This is where I want to go running back. This is gonna be my second RB. I could have gone Josh Jacobs there, but I like the idea of continuing to hammer out receivers because we're gonna see a big drop off. So I have Chris Godwin as a wide receiver 4. I'm okay with him here in this spot. Don't hate it whatsoever. Given my roster build so far. All right, so we're going to see a run of tight ends here coming up pretty soon. And I'm hoping that I can come out with Evan Ingram. Like that is my next two picks, are Evan Ingram, and I'm hoping I can get Kamara, but I am going to prioritize Evan Ingram. I've talked about how excited I am about him, and at this point, I can give this is a mini stack here for Jacksonville. I stacked Jacksonville in my previous draft, and it wasn't with ETN, it wasn't Ingram, it was Kirk. So I'm going to get now a different type of Jacksonville stack here. Assuming he does get to me, right? Like we gotta assume he gets to me here. And I could take the risk, but team 1 and team 3 do need a tight end as well as team 6. So highly doubt that he would come back and land to be here. So there are several players I like, right? So I'm going to go Evan Ingram. Kamara went before me, so this is a no-brainer for me. Evan Ingram is my guy here. I am very content. So he's been a top 5 in PPR scoring tight end since entering Jacksonville. We know Doug Peterson's offense very fruitful, very friendly for tight ends. Over 140 targets last year, over 100 receptions. I'm not going to be stunned if his role is once again as solidified as it was last year. His first year with the team, 98 targets. Like the opportunities are going to be there for Evan Ingram. So I'm riding with him as my tight end 1 here pretty happily. Now I know that I'm going to have to be targeting Trevor Lawrence at some point here in this draft, but when we look at this, we have I like the idea of Trevor Lawrence. I can still go CJ Stroud and pair him up with Diggs, and we can add someone like a Dalton Schultz a little later for a full-blown Houston stack. And I like the correlation there that these teams are going to play twice a year. They could see some shootouts there. So there is some correlation as well if I do stack Houston and Jacksonville here, which is something I really might be inclined on doing depending on the running backs that are there. Right now we won't be picking until like pick 90. I think this is where we will be going, right? Pick 90, we're looking here, and I'm okay with that. Obviously someone like a David Montgomery in this round would be very strong. But I'm really into the idea of if CJ Stroud lands to me, I'm gonna go ahead and go with a Houston stack. This wasn't my initial plan, and this is what I talk about all the time, just going with the draft, going with the flow and letting it fall to you, right? And this is why my Godwin selection, otherwise I'd be here at the receiver position right now. And quite frankly, do I have incredibly high expectations for someone like Godwin? No, I don't. But, is he okay as my wide receiver 4, my flex option? Yeah, I think so. He's been a top, 31 wide receiver in PPR formats in every season since 2018. I'm okay with that. I really am. So it kind of shows like once you start putting everything together here, how things play out. And again, I mean, we have options. Now we have plenty of options. CJ Stroud here. So all of these teams are without a quarterback, right? So any of these could pull the trigger here on CJ Stroud. If they do, we adjust accordingly, right? Like that point now, no, we're not going to have to adjust, right? We got CJ Stroud right here, and this is a thing of beauty. So now we have to plan for Dalton Schultz, right? So we're going to go Dalton Schultz. We can always look deeper down their wide receiver depth chart, though. You're going down a deep rabbit hole there, considering they have that 3-headed monster in Dell, Collins, and Diggs. Yeah, I think we're going to go for Schultz later on, right? Pairing him up and make sure that they're not the same buy. So they're not the same buy. So looking good. All right, so now we're going to definitely go running back to the very next pick, right? I like Stevenson. Would probably skip on Jones Swift. I like White. I like Moss quite a bit. So Stevenson's gone. David Montgomery. Those two I like quite a bit in their price range right now. I think they're good investments. And there's someone else. They're right around here. Yeah, we're probably gonna go running back here if we get that opportunity. Okay, so that's probably gonna be my approach here. And then when do we have to take Lawrence? So we got Lawrence. So I think if everything goes according to plan, we have a pretty good layout here. So we can bring Robinson here. We're going to go Lawrence here. And I think we're going to hopefully land four of these 5 players right here in the queue in the next 4 rounds. So that is the plan. Things don't always go to plan, so we're definitely gonna have to figure out some adjustments. You see, Zach Moss just went there. This person, well, look, they only have 2 receivers, so this is a tough, approach here, right? Like when you go with a robust running back approach here, you're starting to, kind of this group of receivers. It's not terrible. All right, so we're gonna go Zamir White here. Not terrible, right? Because they're gonna have opportunities, but you leave yourself now like you're gonna have to address the receiver position, and this is just a weird spot. Like I like Dobbs, I like Shaheed, Shakir, fine, Lockett, fine. I mean, it's a decent group, but I think you're now navigating some very volatile waters here. And we're gonna see some running back runs now, especially with when you look at the board here, a lot of these teams went receiver heavy. So you're gonna see a lot of running backs being taken. Like don't be surprised to see a massive run like we're seeing here. So yeah, look, so far I'm very excited about this build. I got St. Brown, Adams, Diggs. I think all very strong receivers. Travis Etienne, I'm more excited about him than the consensus. I think that this is an offense that, despite struggling, he produced. I think the opportunities are going to continue to be there for him. Godwin, like I mentioned, look, I view him as a very solid wide receiver for here, a flex option. I think it could be worse. I definitely, with this group, it's always about what you have at that point, right? With this group, I felt very good about him. And then I'm going to address, there's a lot of young receivers down here that I'm pretty, not that I want to say super excited, but that I'm definitely on board with drafting here. Someone I'm looking at. If we go with, well, we already got a pretty significant stack here as far as Jacksonville, but Davis is someone you can include in a Jacksonville stack. Dobbs, don't know if we're going to get to him, but we're going to try, right? We're going to try to do this here. So we have a lot of teams. Let me see how many teams. So everyone except everyone except two teams, and here we go. Everyone now except these two teams are. So we could see a little quarterback run. Would Jordan Love make sense here? No, Jordan Love would not make sense. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go Brian Robinson. All right, I just really like this, and now I feel comfortable where we don't have to address the running back position for a little bit more. I think now we can focus a lot of our attention on the receiver, the backup tight end if we want with Dalton Schultz to complete that stack. And it just receiver depth. We currently have 4 receivers. I like the idea of having a minimum of 8 receivers here. And then as far as tight ends are concerned, if I have Dalton Schultz and Evan Ingram, I'm okay with those two. If there's, someone I've been targeting really late in drafts, Mike Gesicki would be someone I consider. But again, I don't feel the need for a third tight end here with this group that we have. Now, let's see what other quarterbacks we have here still. So we still have Brock Purdy. We still have Jared Goff. So we have quality quarterbacks here. So which means I can maybe take a somewhat different approach, right? And instead of going with a full-blown, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Instead of going with a full-blown Jacksonville stack and get Trevor Lawrence, I could wait around here. I could get someone here. So I'm going to have to reach for a position here no matter what. Regardless of how we view this, we're going to have to reach here for a position. Whether it be a Jacksonville or not really, Jacksonville's not reaching. Trevor Lawrence is not reaching here. So I'm going to go really early on Jahan Dotson. Let me see. No, I'm not going to go really early on Jahan Dotson. All right, so this team doesn't have a tight end. And I'm going to go Dalton Schultz. I'm going to complete my Houston's tab. That's what I want to do. That's what I feel like doing here. Complete my Houston stack. I now don't have to worry about the tight end position. It is a little early, but there was no way that Dalton Schultz with this person here not having a tight end was going to get back to me. So now I have a couple of options here, right? I can go Trevor Lawrence if falls. I can go Jared Goff, assuming he falls. If not, I can go Jahan Dotson. And I walk away from the stacks here. I like Dotson in this format. I think he complements my group of receivers really well. When you look at what I have thus far at the receiver position. So he's someone that I'm interested in here at this price range. Wouldn't mind going, a little bit of ahead of ADP. In fact, I was considering him there around 10 as an option. So yeah, so right now we have a one quarterback, three running back, four receiver, two tight end build. I feel like both of these tight ends are going to be candidates for the flex spot throughout the season. It's in some weeks, so I definitely think that if you take this approach, you want that, right? You want one of those tight ends that can be a flex option in a PPR format. So really like the way that this is shaping out here. Let's see here. Let's look at some of the other teams that we have. Let's see what they're working with here. So I feel like this is so yeah, the running back situation here I think is very shaky. I like this start. I think if there's no issues with the contract and Higgins plays, I think this is a very strong build. Now, I wonder if with these running backs, you want to continue to hammer the running back position and maybe instead of doing that, maybe, looking at some receivers here in this range. All right, we're going to be picking soon. So with this build, what 14, week 5, okay. So everyone here has a quarterback, 1, 2. All right, so there goes that idea. Let me see something here at the quarterback position. All right, so if we don't stack now, we'll be, no, you know what? I'm going to stack. I like this. We're going to stack. We're going to stack. We're going to let go of Dotson here. And now we're going to just select some of the receivers that we like in this range, right? Like that's what we're going to do. We're going to search for some guys that can give us some pretty nice performances. See what we can get here in this range. So we're going to go with, all right, so Dotson's not in Atlanta. So we'll go with Judy here. Someone, I think a good route runner. We're looking for upside. Let's look for upside here. I really would like to get some, looking through, scratching off some players here. Something that we're going to get later. Some more we're going to get later as well. Ideally, which won't happen, ideally, Dotson lands right back to us. Not, we'll get some, like Jermaine Burton here. With some of the uncertainty there in Cincy. I think someone that could step into a solidified role. I like this offense too. I'm bullish on the offense. But we still have some running backs here like Davis. Don't mind taking some shots at right. Gonna go here later. I've been kind of gravitating towards Elijah Mitchell. All right, so look, so this is sometimes when drafts go according to plan and you get lucky. Call that a lucky break there. So Dotson, I really like the pairing. I mean, I've got several floor receivers, obviously St. Brown massive upside, one of the top receivers in football. I pair him up with a high volume in Devontae Adams, who's still going to give you some pretty big games. Well, not the same, obviously, receiver he once was. Diggs in a good situation there. We got the stack of Houston and Godwin. Again, I think a pretty solid, receiver, especially as that, flex option. Now you got a receiver that could, create big plays, has, nice upside, though a very volatile floor. I think it's a good pairing here with this group. And we were able to do it and still get a Detroit stack, as well as, let's see what we got here left for Detroit. Let's see what we got here. All right, maybe we could just, not that I want to do it, but maybe we can get him here as one of the last picks of the draft here. So we'll probably have to get Raymond if we do. We can do that. We'll do that. Okay, we'll add him there to the mix of teams. So that's just if he falls to us or whatnot, we're not going to go out of our way to get him by any means. I like the idea of now going after some of these young running backs, right? Don't know if we know that the opportunities are not necessarily going to be there for some of them immediately. But investing with offense is something I like to do, and here's kind of what I'm doing. So Davis is gone here, not surprising whatsoever. See a lot of love for McLaughlin, and I somewhat get it, but I'm not there myself. See, from a roster construction standpoint, where we're at, right? So we got 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends, 3 running backs, 5 receivers. And we're still looking at both receivers and running backs, kind of what I'm doing right now, what we're targeting. Now, Michael Wilson and Zay Jones, I think those are 2 interesting players. I don't think both will pan out. I think it's going to be one or the other. I'll probably split my exposure. As of right now, I think I have 1 and 1 on each team here. Let me see. I think I have 1 and 1. So no, I don't have 1 and 1. All right. So based on my build, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot on a Jalen Wright. Invest in this Miami offense that is expected to score a lot of points this year. Do I expect Wright to have a massive role right away? No, not necessarily. But I do think that, at some point he can carve out a role here in Miami. Especially Devon Achane showed some, just inability to stay healthy all season. Mostert, also another one with health concerns. So, just again, I don't need production from the running back position, right? Like, I'm just looking now for someone who could give me a couple of big weeks if the opportunity comes, and I think that that's what we're going to get with someone like Wright. Now, very next round, I'm definitely going to go with running back. I'm sorry, receiver, and it's going to either be Roman Wilson or Michael Wilson here. Kind of where I'm going with this, and again, we're looking for at this point. I'm looking for upside here, and I prefer investing in the Arizona offense. If we're being honest with you, I think that's one that's going somewhat overlooked here. And one I want to be invested in. I think Kyler Murray is going at a good price right now. Obviously you're paying a very expensive price tag for Harrison, Mario Harrison Jr. You're paying a hefty price tag for Trey McBride, but outside of those two, I think you're getting good value on these players. It's interesting here. Trevor Lawrence, Tagovailoa, and now Hill. Hill is your top tight end, Talked about that on Ray Flowers' show, as far as Hill's concerned. And for me, like, this is the kind of format you invest in him in, right? Like, you don't want him in a season long. It's just so much week to week volatility. Cousins is a great buy at this price tag. And I think when you look at this team, they did it really well. They got Kyler Murray and they're pairing up with Cousins. I mean, it's a very strong pairing there. You're looking at, there's not a ton of correlation here with it. So we got our guy Michael Wilson here. Again, this is now I'm gonna have exposure to both him and Zay Jones. Gonna take some shots at him early on and Zay Jones later on here. But so far, I mean, if right now what I'm looking at in the very next pick is, maybe another running back. Maybe we can go another receiver. Marcus Robinson is someone that in this kind of area of the draft that I'm interested in. Let me see here. What else we got? See, Zay Jones is going much later. You could wait around on him if you have a strong take there, but I don't have a massively strong take on either of these. So we got, 5 more rounds or 6 more rounds to go. Sorry, 6 more rounds to go. And we would like at least 2 more receivers, at least 2 more running backs. And then now, again, we've put ourselves in a situation where we don't need more than 2 tight ends or even more than 2 quarterbacks. I think maybe the quarterback is one that I might, see and see if there's anything fun that we can do here with what's left. Let's see what we got going on and see if there's anything we can get creative with. We could do Baker Mayfield, right? Wait, has he been taken? No, he hasn't been taken. Has he been taken? Yeah, he has not been taken. There it is. Sorry, I scrolled right by. No, so we can get Baker Mayfield and pair him up with Godwin. We can also, that's really what we got cooking. Not gonna invest in the Las Vegas situation here. That's yeesh, right there. Not good. Not good, boys and girls. Not good. No, look, so I like the idea of going with someone like Elijah Mitchell here. Like, I know he has his health concerns, but he's gonna get opportunities if McCaffrey misses time, and this is just a good backfield to invest in, right? You can make a strong case for Isaac Guerrero. But I'm gonna go with Mitchell. Definitely gonna go to Mitchell here. We're going to continue to invest at the wide receiver position now. Now we are going to focus our attention on the wide receiver position. See that pairing wise here. So I have the actual draft board, big draft board posted here as well. I'm looking at that as we go. This is just let's see what happens. We talked about investing in good offenses. Baltimore's a good offense to invest in here. Let's see if we can get Walker. Mixing and matching, young wideouts with better bodies is something I like to do. You don't want to be all in on just, young receivers, especially proven ones. And then you don't want to be all in on just veteran receivers. I mean, some of these guys, they're going to start trending downwards. Now, I like Tyler Conklin. If you're waiting around, like I think this is a good pairing. You got Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in football, if not the best tight end in football. Oh, I just got sniped. Look at that. That is what you call a direct snipe. Shit. Ugh, what do we want to do now? What do we want to do now? Hmm. Oh, I don't want to do. Oh no. All right. Well, it's a Khalif Raymond. That's okay. I obviously did not want to do that. Did not want to do that there, but that's okay. It could be worse. Could have been worse. All right. Well, we're gonna continue to pound that receiver. Did you see that? It sucks. That that really sucks. Here. All right. All right. So I hate when that happens. All right. So we're gonna go receiver here, and we're gonna have to take some players that we might not be too fond of here. Let's I'm gonna add Jaceki to my player pool because I've been gravitating towards him here. And I like him. I like him here. Okay, so we're gonna go with. I'm not a DJ Shark player. I'm not big on him. Never been big on him, but I am definitely going to take a shot here. Look at this little quarterback run here, huh? So we got 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. All right. I like this Levis. If you're waiting around to tie that position, I like the Levis pick. I'm gonna go right back to the receiver here. So we have 8. We got 3 more picks. All right. So we definitely get one more running back and get one more receiver. And now I'll get Jaceki and we'll throw a dart there with the last pick, someone who hasn't been drafted. I like doing that. Um here. Let me see here. Let me go with Jennings. I like someone like a Jennings. He does get drafted, but I'm going with taking shots here. All right, so this is a part of the draft where, depending on your build, right, you want to definitely start taking shots on players. You take the guys you want. Don't wait around for ADP. Like just take the guys you want. This is around 18, 19, 20. If you like, a specific quarterback or a specific, I'm talking about late round guy. Just take them. Don't wait to the ADP. Don't do any of that up here. Um, Damon Pierce. I think that's an interesting pick. Like I know he disappointed last year, but I mean he's running right behind Mixon, right? This is a good offense to be invested in. Um, so what running back do I want in this range? I think I drafted Gainwell in the last draft that we did. Let me double check if I did. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna do it again. I like that. All right, so Gaywall is my 6th running back. I'm okay with this. Can I get one more? Absolutely. I might just do that instead of going with Jaceki. Um, or you know what? In this kind of format. All right, let's see how this draft plays out, like the board plays out here. But I think I'm done at the running back position. I'm okay with this group here. I think we got 3 standalone guys. I think we got 2 who can get opportunities with one injury. And one who I think there's going to be a role here for Gainwell as well. if obviously if Barkley is unable to play. So investing in handcuffs of good teams is what I wanted to do here with this build. Now, this is such an interesting situation. Like, I feel like in this, and I'm not doing it because of the quarterbacks I have, but I feel like if you if you're looking for an upside play, right, and you don't invest too early of draft capital, maybe I do it. You know what? Maybe I will do it now with Jaceki gone. Let me see here. So I'm not interested in any of these. So all right, I'm gonna go with Jennings here. I interested to see how this whole Brandon Ayuk situation plays out there. San Francisco, someone that I think can maybe carve out the role. I know there's conversations in regards to Brandon Ayuk being traded to Washington that potentially would include Terry McLaurin, which would pretty much just take away any value that Jennings would have, because he would be right back to that third receiver role there on that offense. But one injury away from some opportunities there, and again, one of the better offenses. Now, going back to my thought process here, Justin Fields, like, I feel like he's potentially a tournament winning kind of quarterback. He has that kind of upside right now. I don't see him going into the season as a starter. But if he does end up getting a start, whether it's Russell Wilson struggling, Russell Wilson not playing up to par, that there's no commitment to, like, there's no financial monetary commitment to either of these quarterbacks. Like, so this is just, they're going to be looking at this as, hey, whoever's playing their best football is the one that's going to be starting. I think we obviously expect Russell Wilson to be the number one the QB1 in week one, but that doesn't mean that that's going to be, for the entirety of the season. So I do think that Justin Fields, but with CJ Stroud and Jared Goff, I don't think I need to make that move. I could, and I just might, just for the shits and giggles. I'm hoping that I don't get that opportunity. So don't care to do it. But of course, I'm going to be presented with that opportunity. I'm not going to do it because of the quarterbacks. If I had any different quarterbacks, I would. Let's go with Treylon Burks in case he gets traded. All right, I'm going to go with Treylon Burks there and get myself another receiver. Am I saying Treylon Burks is going to get traded? No, but you never know. What happens between now and the start of the season. This is a team that they have a ton of receivers. They added Calvin Ridley. They added Tyler Boyd. They still have DeAndre Hopkins. But if he does get traded, could just solidify a role somewhere else here. All right, so let's look at this roster. And that's CJ Stroud, Jared Goff, Travis Etienne, Zamir White, Brian Robinson, Jalen Wright, Elijah Mitchell, and Kenneth Gainwell rounds up my running backs there. The receivers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Jahan Dotson, Michael Wilson, Khalif Raymond, DJ Shark, Jawan Jennings, Treylon Burks, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz as my tight end. So this is a 2-6-10-2 build, right? And I went with this build because I felt very strongly about my quarterback and tight ends. I feel like I got two very strong options to potentially top 12 options at their positions. So I didn't want, a third at either position. Justin Fields was very tempting, like I talked about, like kind of the thought process there. But there's going to be very few weeks, in my opinion, he's going to outscore both CJ Stroud and Jared Goff. So I just don't see that being a smart move by drafting him as my third. Had I gone maybe weaker at quarterback 2 or not invested, and in a draft capital like I did with CJ Stroud, maybe I would have done it. But no, I like this group of running backs. I got, in my opinion, 3 top 24 running backs. And I got several guys who can step into a decent role here. Should, if there's the starter go down or miss any time or anything of that nature. And then the receiving group, mixing and matching here, I got some floor guys, some volume guys, some high upside plays. We know that Raymond was a misclick there as I was searching for receivers, but I was planning on getting him anyways. It was just a matter of the round here. DJ Shark, I'm not a fan, but I am investing in a good offense who right now really doesn't have an identity at the receiver position, right? There's not, Palmer's they're one guy, but they really don't have an identity. They lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams. So someone's going to have to step up here for the Chargers. I'm not saying it's Shark, but if he does carve out a somewhat of a role here. And Juwan Jennings, same thing, the thought process I gave that behind that. And Burks, it's just a 10th receiver. If he gets traded, something could happen there, if he gets traded to a good situation. I was a fan of him coming out of college. Obviously, it hasn't played out, but sometimes all these players need is a new home, a new team, a new offense. So, again, the tight end position, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz, in my opinion, 2 top 12 guys. Remember, guys, like if you enjoy this, let me know. Leave some comments. Leave some, anything, feedback. Tell me what you think about the team. Tell me what you think about Drafters. Don't forget, we have the Best Ball Drafters promo code. Elite gets you a 100% match up to $100 on that first deposit. Elite 10 gets you a 10% match on any reloading on your reload deposit there. So make sure you take advantage of that. Then, again, Drafters, like I said, they have, you get tickets for 10 drafts, another ticket for after drafting 25 teams, and there are 2 tickets for 50 teams, 3 more tickets for drafting 100 teams. And if you draft 150 teams, you get a $100 bonus in funds and a Drafters t-shirt. So make sure you take advantage of that promotion as well. Check out all of my work over at fantasyguru.com. You can also check out my podcast, The Mind of Marsaw, on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, Podbean, pretty much anywhere you're consuming your podcast. You'll be able to hear the Mind of Marsaw podcast. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this draft. I'll be doing many more of these here throughout the year, and it's been fun. And again, thank you guys all for tuning in. This was a blast. See you guys next time.